Hello, everyone. I'm hoping that you can hear me and see me. My name is Jose Borghino. I'm the Secretary General of the International Publishers Association, and I'm delighted to be the moderator for today's webinar session. We are here today to celebrate the choice of Jakarta as the venue for the 33rd International Publishers Congress on the 11th to 13th of November 2022. To kick things off, I'd like to introduce the IPA's president, Hugo Setzer, live from Mexico. Take it away, Hugo.
Thank you, Jose. Selamat siang tuan dan nyonya. Good morning in Mexico City, good afternoon in Frankfurt, and good evening in Jakarta. It is my honor to welcome you all here to this information session on Jakarta, the next host of our International Publishers Congress. My warmest greetings to the Governor of Jakarta, Dr. Anies Baswedan. Thank you for your commitment to this project, but more generally for recognizing the importance of books to your city and its people. I also would like to welcome Laura Plintzlu, Executive Chair for Jakarta Book City Committee, Rosidayati Rosalina, President of the Indonesian Publishers Association, IGAPI, Kristen Einarsson of the Norwegian Publishers Association, and my colleague Haidar Bagir. Thanks for being here. The International Publishers Association, which is the world's largest federation of national, regional, and specialist publishers association, was founded in Paris in 1896 with the original name of International Publishers Congress. The very first IPA Congress opened in Paris on the 15th of June, 1896, with about 200 participants from 13 countries. Since then, the IPA has continued organizing congresses, with the only exception of the periods of the two world wars of the 20th century. Since its foundation, IPA has clearly identified two main themes of concern to focus our work, what we call today our two pillars. One is the promotion of adequate copyright laws that protect the works we publish. We believe this is vital to a flourishing, diverse publishing market. Copyright is a basic economic model for returning value to creators and publishers, thus encouraging the creation and dissemination of ideas and information. Our second pillar is to defend our freedom to publish. Even with the best copyright laws in place, it is of little use if we are not free to publish whatever contents we consider convenient. As we speak, there are publishers all around the world being threatened, harassed, imprisoned, or even killed because of the books they publish. We have had IPA congresses all around the world, usually with numbers ranging between 200 and 500 participants. Nowadays, we have delegates coming from between 50 to 70 countries. Our last Congress was programmed to take place in May 2020 in Lillehammer, Norway, but unfortunately had to be canceled due to the pandemic. A special word of thanks to Kristen Einarsson and all our colleagues of the Norwegian Publishers Association, who did an outstanding job up to the last moment and timely faced and managed in such a noble way the hard decision of canceling. Mr. Governor, today I'm personally, and we are all within IPA, delighted for our 33rd International Publishers Congress to take place in Jakarta in 2022. An IPA Congress is a unique forum where publishers interact with peers and colleagues from around the planet, an opportunity to learn and to make friends. In a world dominated by screen time and remote working, face-to-face conversations are more important than ever to generate productive interaction around common interests and to enlighten each other. This global pandemic is demonstrating the importance of international cooperation. And one of the best ways to strengthen this international cooperation is getting together to exchange ideas and to learn from each other during an IPA Congress. Thank you very much to IGAPI, to Jakarta Book City Committee, and to the government of Jakarta for having accepted the challenge of organizing an IPA Congress. I am sure it will be a splendid Congress, and I look forward to traveling to Jakarta in 2022. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Hugo. And in response, I'd now like to introduce the Governor of Jakarta, Anies Baswedan, live from Indonesia.
Excellencies, Presidents of International Publishers Associations, Mr. Hugo Sadzer, former Managing Director of Norwegian Publisher Associations, Mr. Kristen Enarsson, our good friend, Mr. Hurgen Bos, Frankfurt Book Fair CEO, the Executive Chair of Jakarta Book City, Ms. Laura Prinsloo, Presidents of the Indonesian Publisher Associations, Ms. Rosi Dayati Rosalina, the Secretary General of the International Publisher Association, Mr. Jose Borghino, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, allow me to thank Mr. Setzer and all the International Publisher Associations committee member for arranging this virtual event and for allowing us to have the opportunity to host the 33rd International Publisher Association Congress in 2022. And truly appreciate that this is officially launched, the decision today at this event. I was very impressed with the work of the Frankfurt Book Fair to build and maintain civilizations by literacy work. In 2015, I had the opportunity to participate directly. I was then served as Minister of Education and Culture and had the honor to be in Frankfurt and participating in the Frankfurt Book Fair, which had made our literature on the become the global spotlight of the world's largest book festival. And today, we in Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia, would like to experience the honor once again and to introduce our literacy work to the world and to invite all of you to come and enjoy our city. And the decisions of our city, Jakarta, to host the 33rd International Publisher Associations World Congress in 2022 has been made. We have established the committee, the Jakarta Book City Committee, which consists of government officials, literacy industries, printing companies, and book enthusiasts as a preparation team. And this team will be part of the Jakarta City of Collaborations. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say a little about Jakarta. Jakarta is the home of more than 10 million people. We are the melting pot of the center of the literacy, culture, and arts of the nations. We are also the home for more than 5,600 libraries, more than 1,200 publishing houses, and we are the home of more than 30% of Indonesia modern bookstores. So Jakarta is the place in Indonesia to host this kind of activities. And the Indonesian publishing industry is made up of over 5,000 publishers, producing an average of 120,000 new titles every year, and making Indonesia as one of the most extensive book producers in Southeast Asia. And our publishing market is growing, and we do hope that it gets a bigger, wider audience. And the Jakarta city government, we are ready to become the hub of the book industry development and to collaborate with various groups, partners, to host this prestigious dedicated meeting for book stakeholders, to generate creative ideas and to prepare a future for development centers. Ladies and gentlemen, the capital city of Jakarta built the city with the visions to reach a happy citizen in a thriving city. We believe that citizens and stakeholders are co-creators and that the government is serving as collaborator and that every aspect of the city needs to work together to build a sustainable living in the city. And in fact, Jakarta, City of Collaborations, is our brand, and we're inviting everyone to participate in the development of Jakarta. So the collaboration is also taking place here in the literacy and the book industries. Jakarta Capital City Government has built partnership with Jakarta Book City Committee, in which we are already taking part in IPA World Congress in 2022. The partnership is intended to improve the quality of citizen literacy. We do hope to improve the investment climate in the publishing industry as well. And the citizen literacy and publishing industry is an intertwined relationship. Both need each other, and it needs to grow to extend the reach. The people need various type of good quality books, and the industry need a healthy environment to keep the publishing good book growing. Jakarta Capital City Government is now working on building various infrastructures and regulations to sustain the literacy industry in our city. We have created multiple book markets, book garden. All are intended to make easier access for the people to reach quality books and to let the industry to grow along the process. Jakarta literacy industry is one of our pride. We do hope that literacy industry will continue to contribute significantly in the Indonesia intellectual growth. They are facing one of the biggest challenges, the decline of interest in reading, especially in the new generations. As we are moving into digital, one of our challenge is to enable interest to grow, that people still, especially the youth, still continue to read more than scan, as we are often seeing new generation scan information instead of read books, and we do hope to push into that directions. The pandemic has also caused a significant hit on the publishing industry. Some publishers here need to reduce its substantial amount of production, even forced to close some of their activities. However, we believe that the industries are going to be back to normal as the situation's becoming under control. And we do hope we will learn from this pandemic also to spread reach through digital means. In 2020, Jakarta Capital City Government is focusing on promotions of the upcoming event to all literacy and publishing industry in Indonesia. We have already started the promotion event since the end of September, and we will continue in various forthcoming events, such as Jakarta International Literacy Festival and also Jakarta Content Week. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, on these important occasions, I would like to ask all of you to support us in succeeding the upcoming 33rd International Publisher Association World Congress in 2022. We are so looking forward for this event. We look forward to welcoming all of you to our city. We look forward to facilitate a Congress that will shape the history of our city. And we do hope the Congress that will contribute significantly to the directions of publishers in the future. Our city, Jakarta, is ready, and we will be welcoming you with warm heart. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Governor Baswedan. We also look forward to joining you in November 2022 in your wonderful, exciting city. This year was supposed to showcase the Norwegian town of Lillehammer as the venue for the IPA Congress. At the end of every IPA Congress, the IPA flag is handed over to the organisers of the next Congress. Unfortunately, as we all know, because of the COVID pandemic, the Lillehammer Congress had to be cancelled. To conduct the important handover ceremony today, I'd like to introduce Kristen Einarsson, the recent CEO of the Norwegian Publishers Association, who will hand the IPA flag to Laura Prinsloo, the Executive Chair of Jakarta Book City.
Governor Baswedan, dear colleagues from the publishing world, thank you for inviting me to participate in this ceremony. I remember well in 2018 when we took over the flag in Delhi in India. This moment should have been the culmination of the International Publishers Congress at Lillehammer in Norway. And the date should have been 26th of May this year. So much hard work had been done when we had to cancel the conference due to COVID-19. I would like to thank the program committee chaired by the Vice President of IPA, Bodur Al-Kazimi. I would like to thank all the secretariats of IPA and Jose Borino in Geneva. I would like to thank President Hugo Setzer of IPA and also the employees and the board of the Norwegian Publishers Association, and also everybody else who was involved in the work for the 2-year planning period. Is there then any legacy from what should have been the 33rd International Publishers Congress at Lillehammer in Norway? Well, tomorrow we will present 7 reports that were produced for this Congress. When we had to cancel the Congress, IPA and the Norwegian PA decided to complete these reports. We hope that they will bring new information about key issues for the global publishing industry, and that they can be used to discuss core policy matters and help our industry in making wise decisions in the future. Such reports needs updates over time. Perhaps that could be something to be considered doing before the Congress in Jakarta. Just a thought. As mentioned, the program committee did such a great job selecting topics and panelists, and I would think that Bodur, who chaired the committee, agrees with me that the Jakarta Book City obviously can look at the unused program for ideas if they want. As we hand over the IPA flag today and present the reports tomorrow, we are no longer looking back on what might have been. We set our eyes on 2022, hoping that the world is in a normal situation again, so that the International Publisher Congress can be a physical congress with a great output for the publishing industry. We wish the Organization Committee for the International Publisher Congress Jakarta all the best, and I'm glad to be able to hand over, although virtually, the IBA flag to Laura Prinsloo, the Executive Chair of Jakarta Book City. I've got it here, if you can see it.
Yes, we can see it. Nice.
And then we hand it over to you, Laura. All the best.
thank you, Kristen, for handing over the IPA flag to Jakarta. This flag marks the start of our journey and the great responsibility to host the 33rd International Publishers Congress in 2022 in Jakarta. This is all made possible through the full support of the Jakarta provincial government. Mr. Anies Baswedan, our governor, the officials of International Publishers Association, Mr. Hugo Setzer and team, Mrs. Rosidayati Rosalina and the Indonesian Publishers Association, and a special thank also to Mr. Jürgen Boz, President of Frankfurter Buchmesse, for holding this event during the Frankfurt Book Virtual Fair. It is unfortunate that this year's IPA Congress in Lillehammer was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I myself have registered and looked forward to attending such great programs that were planned in advance. This situation is affecting everyone. Almost all publishing events this year are done digitally through virtual platforms. Actually, today, October 14th, is also a special date for us, the Indonesian publishing industry, because exactly 5 years ago, Indonesia was the guest of honor at Frankfurt Book Fair, an event that since then has opened doors to many opportunities for Indonesian books and culture to be introduced to the international world. And next month, together with the Frankfurt Book Fair, we will launch the first ever content festival for the Asia Pacific virtually from Jakarta, called the Jakarta Content Week. The pandemic has indeed drastically changed the way of life we live, specifically the way we interact with the government and respond to the future. And it will have lasting impacts. This is where I feel fortunate and grateful that Jakarta values books and reading as an important part of human life, especially in terms of assisting us through the struggles in overcoming this pandemic. For this reason, Jakarta has formed the Jakarta Book City Committee as of earlier this year to manage the ever-expansive plan and programs for the development of book infrastructure in our city, Jakarta. One of the committee's programs includes what we are celebrating today, to host the 33rd International Publishers Congress. There is still much that Jakarta needs to learn and do to make these programs a reality, which is why we see the collaboration with various parties as a necessity. Specifically for the IPA World Congress, I cannot imagine anything less than working closely with IPA, ICAPI, and also the Norwegian Publishers Association and the cities that have hosted the previous congresses, with our close friends at the ASEAN Book Publishers Association, the Frankfurt Buchmesse, World Book Capitals, and many more. Collaboration is also an important ingredient and is necessary to welcome today's uncertain future. We will not be able to get through it if we don't hold hands and help each other all together. Lastly, I would again like to thank you, IPA, for trusting us to hold this prestigious event. Thank you on behalf of our great city, Jakarta. We are working hard to welcome you all in 2022. And to end my speech, I would like to show you a video about our city that was specially produced for today. This video is narrated by the governor of Jakarta himself, and it will give you a glimpse of our vision to realizing Jakarta Book City, where everybody's reading.
proud to announce that Jakarta has been selected to host the 33rd International Publisher Association World Congress in 2022. This achievement is the result of the collaborations of the people and the provincial government of Jakarta in developing the book industry and literacy. Jakarta is home to more than 10 million people. It's a large percentage of those come from all over Indonesia, various cities, provinces, even countries. As the nation's melting pot, Jakarta has long been the region center for literacy, culture, and arts. Historically, during the declarations of independence in 1945, which took place in Jakarta, the distributions of printed materials was used to spread the spirit of revolutions among the people across the archipelago. And the founders of our republic, all of them were book readers. Those are activists and scholars that have the spirit of independence, that have the spirit of against colonialism. They're able to translate ideas into document based on the wide reading that they have had for many years. Currently, Jakarta is also the center of the nation's business and economy, and also home for hundreds of large national-scale libraries and publishers. The city has also become a meeting hub of the international events such as the Asian Games, the ASEAN Para Games, the Jakarta International Literary Festival, International Indonesian Book Fair, and also the Litbit Literaction Festival. Jakarta's public willingness to maintain unity in diversity, combined with available book infrastructures in the city and the growing industry, has inspired all of us to collaborate to build reading culture as an integral part of the life of the citizen in our city. It is a new initiative in the history of Jakarta. The Jakarta government will partner with the general public, with the publishers, with the community groups, and literacy volunteers to actualize the missions through book-related programs that are grouped into 4 main pillars. 1. Developing book communities. 2. Meeting of book and content stakeholders. 3. Strengthening cultures to meet the demographic bonus. And 4. Reinforcing literacy and content ecosystem. The 2020 is a challenging year for all of us across the globe, not only here in Jakarta or Indonesia. The pandemic has affected almost all sectors, including the publishing sectors. But at the same time, the hard situation brings forth some innovations, such as virtual book-related events, such as the opening of the 33rd IPA World Congress that will be held virtually for the first time. Further collaboration is needed to maintain our resilience to deal with this challenging time. The appointment and the selections of Jakarta as the host of the 33rd IPA World Congress serve as one of the defining stage in the development of the Indonesian book industry to invite publishing houses, book stakeholders across archipelago to come together, work together in harmonious collaborations. The success of the event will be marked as Jakarta's dedication to the country and to the world as an attempt to develop the people's well-being through books. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for introducing that. And thank you, Governor Baswedan, for your marvelous voiceover technique. It was very interesting to see so much of Jakarta and just making us even more eager to come and visit in 2022 for the IPA Congress. Right now, we have a couple of Indonesian publishers with us, and we thought we'd take the opportunity to ask them some questions about publishing in Indonesia. Rosidayati Rosalina is the president of IKAPI, the Indonesian Publishers Association, and Haidar Bagir is the president of the Mizan Group, publishing group in Indonesia. Can you both please switch your cameras on and your microphones. Ida? Thank you, Ida. Haidar, can you switch your camera and microphone on, please?
Trying, but couldn't.
No.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, well, we'll let you struggle.
Yeah.
And
I've been clicking it several times.
okay, we'll let you struggle. And there you are. Good to see you, Haidar. First question to you, Ida. Can you tell us a little bit about the current situation for publishers across Indonesia, which I think takes in something like more than 20,000 publishers in all across all your islands?
Yes, thanks, Jose. Before answering your question, I would like to say thank you to IPA, our president, Mr. Hugo Setzer, and also to Frankfurt Book Fair, and also to our governor, Mr. Anies Baswedan. It's a great honor to be here in this very important event. And also to the speaker, Pak Haidar, Bagir, and Laura, the executive chair for Handover City Committee, and also for all. Good evening from in Indonesia. Okay, I would like to share our survey. Conducted by IKAPI about publishing industry. As you said, that currently in Indonesia there are around 2,000 large and small publishing companies spread across all major islands in Indonesia. The majority are in Java and Bali. Referring to the data of IKAPI members in 2015, there is a very significant increase of memberships from 1,328 in 2015 to 1,821 in 2020. This means there are almost 500 new memberships in a period of 5 years. Talking about the number of books printed, there has been a decreasing 10 to 15% number of books printed since the last 3 years. The decrease is experienced by nearly 75% of publishers, especially publishers of school books, college textbook, and general reference book. And about the book circulation, the estimated number of book circulation published in 2015 is around 102 million copies. This number dropped in 2019 to only 94 million copies. The decline in sales of general and reference books was largely due to the availability of digital information. Research showed that book ownership among students is very low. Only about 15% of the respondents took the initiative to buy textbook or reference as study materials. The rest borrow from libraries or search for information on the internet. However, despite the decline in circulation, the money value tended to be stable due to the increase of 5% to 10% of the average book price per year. This information indicated that even though there is an increase in IKAPI membership, the situation is not followed by a growth in the publisher sales turnover. The current book market is increasing to a more segmented market based on community and group entities. Those who are still marketing products with old models and in open markets have experienced decline, but publishers who are more segmented and do not rely on conventional distribution to bookstores can actually grow and survive. Regarding digital books, there is a significant increase in the number of publishers starting to move towards digital book products from around 20% in 2015 to nearly 40% in 2020. Digital books here are still in PDF format. The remaining 60% still hold on with conventional book products. In terms of sales turnover, the contribution of digital books to book sales plays an average of 12% of the total sales. Concerning the trend of books that readers are interested in, it shows that there is no prominent trend in one particular genre. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a significant decrease in publishers' revenue. The majority of publishers experienced a decline of nearly 60% as the same period as before COVID-19. Publishers start to collaborate with marketplaces to sell their printed books and started to sell more ebooks. The objective not only to sell their books, but also as reaction to book piracy in the marketplace. Now there has been an increasing of more than 600% units sold in Google Play Books compared to same period last year. However, sales of educational physical books dropped only 30% to 40% because there's an enhancement of ebook format from PDF to interactive. I think that's all.
Thank you, Rosie Dayati. Our time is moving on, so I think I want to make sure that Haidar gets a chance to speak before we open up for questions from the audience. And by the way, I see that we have 59 people on as participants. So please use the chat apparatus to ask any questions you might have. I see that the Governor, Anies Baswedan, is still here, so maybe he would like to answer a few questions. Please use the chat, see if you can get a question to us before we have to close. And Haidar, the story around the world is that both booksellers, authors, and publishers have all had to evolve, have all had to do different things during this pandemic. In some cases, that's opened up new opportunities for publishers, for example. And so it's not all been a bad story. So do you, Haidar, know of any stories that you can tell us of individual Indonesian publishers who've made innovative responses to the pandemic?
Thank you very much. I will have to divide my response to your question to actually two parts. The first part is about the printed book industry, and the second part is about the ebook industry. Ms. Rosalina just now has mentioned about the increase in the sales of the ebook, but it is compared to the sales of the same category last year. So we enjoyed an increase in the sales. But if compared to the sales of printed books, actually I can say that if a publishing company can get 10% of its sales on ebook compared to the sales of the printed books, it has to be happy, because 10% of the sales of the printed book for ebooks is a good is actually good in Indonesia. So most of the publishing companies, I think, would enjoy only like 5% of its sales from ebook compared to the sales of printed books. So if we are talking about the sales of ebook nowadays in Indonesia, it's very small. Actually, the industry has not picked up here in Indonesia. Not to mention the fact that with that, the fact that we cannot sell ebooks in a good number, also piracy is a problem. Many of our books are being published as a pirated books in PDF forms, and people can easily have access to this pirated edition. So the ebook industry here in Indonesia, although for sure we know that in some other countries the sales are picking up, but here in Indonesia, it's in average, I think we can only sell like in terms of the sales, 5% of the sales of the printed books. Like our publishing house, for instance, we have almost 3,000 books published in Google Play. But with 3,000 titles published in Google Play, we only enjoy around 5% of the sales of ebook if compared to the sales of printed books. So we still need to do really big steps, to take big steps to be able to find a way in which ebooks sales could pick up. Because we know now that the new generation, many of them, especially educated young people who lives in big cities, they are now actually moving from printed books to ebooks. So if we cannot find a way to substitute printed books with ebooks in terms of sales, then it will be a very bad news for the publishing industry. In this pandemic, I think we need a collaboration. We need kind of locomotive companies who would like to invest a good sum of money to do promotion so that people in Indonesia would start to buy ebooks. Nowadays, almost all ebooks can be found in PDF format free as a pirated book. Now, for instance, like our company is joining with another company. This company is ready to invest a good amount of money for promoting ebooks. Hopefully, if we have a locomotive that would attract audience to buy ebooks, hopefully the ebook industry in Indonesia could pick up. Otherwise, it will be a very bad news for the publishing industry. With regard to printed books, as Bu Rosalina has just presented to us, some small publishers could only enjoy 10% to 20% sales in this time of pandemic, compared to the sales that they have enjoyed before the pandemic. Big publishing companies like Mizan Group is one of the maybe 5 biggest publishing industry in Indonesia. Since we have started doing digital transformations since like almost 10 years ago, we have really prepared our infrastructure for doing the business digitally. When the pandemic came, until now we cannot recover for sure, but we still can enjoy 60 to 65% of the sales in this pandemic era compared to the sales before the pandemic, 60% to 65%. But I know for sure some small publishers have closed down, and the others could enjoy only 10% to 20% sales. So collaboration is needed here also. We need promotion. We need to do the promotion together, and then we also need to respond to the fact that pirated books, printed books, now I'm talking about printed books, that the printed books are now also sold as a pirated books almost freely. I mean, if you go to the biggest marketplaces in Indonesia, you will find almost any books sold in 1/3 or 1/4 the price in the biggest marketplaces in Indonesia freely. Now, as Miss Rosalina has just mentioned to us, IKAPI is trying very hard to cooperate with the government to curb on this piracy business. But we are still in the initial phase of trying to fight the piracy. So hopefully with the cooperation with the government, cooperation between the publishing industries, publishing companies, we can curb the the piracy business, and hopefully even in this time of pandemic, hopefully the sales of printed books also can pick up. This is a problem. So if I can summarize, we need a cooperation between publishing companies to curb on the pirated business, and hopefully the government could also support the publishing industries to curb the piracy business. Otherwise, even if all the publishing companies would cooperate, we would not be able to settle on this issue of piracy. So promotion, curbing the piracy business, and with regard to ebooks, I think we need a locomotive, big investors who would invest on the promotion of ebooks, and hopefully when the industry have to transform from printed items to ebook industry, hopefully it will pick up and the sales can be recovered, although we have moved from printed to ebooks. That's what we are now
Haidar,
discussing.
we have to move on. Thank you very much. I think the takeaway messages are very clear. Piracy is a huge problem, both in print and e-versions, and maybe we can start talking through IKAPI to not just the governor, but to the federal national governments about enforcement. Clearly the laws of the land are not being dealt with properly. If people are openly selling pirated works, they need to be stopped, and that's an issue for law enforcement and the authorities. So we'll talk to IKAPI about that and see what we can do, and let's hope that by 2022, when the international publishing establishment of the world comes to Indonesia, they won't be embarrassed to find pirated works floating around in markets and on the internet. Let's work together and collaborate with the government to try to stamp out piracy by November 2022.
Jose, allow me to interrupt a little bit. I will need to excuse myself. I have an event to attend, but truly appreciate this launching, and we look forward for further engagement.
Great.
Goodbye, everyone.
Good to have you on board, Governor. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank you, Bani.
as I was about to say, we're already starting to attract people to the IPA Congress. I've got a question here. Well, it's not a question. It's a statement from a student at Oxford Brookes University in the UK who wants to know how they can already sign up. How can they register for the IPA Congress in 2022? Well, the answer to that is you will see very soon ways of registering. There will be websites, there will be ways of putting your name down and coming and participating in 2022. While I'm looking, oh, hang on, there's another question. I know that many Indonesian publishers already joined. So that it's a question about the Amazon platform. So rather than go into that area, Ida, could you tell us what IKAPI has been doing to support publishers during the COVID-19 pandemic? And while Ida is answering this question, please don't be shy, ask any questions, plug into our chat app and let us know what's on your mind. Ida, please let us know what IKAPI's been doing, and could you keep it to about 5 minutes, please?
IKAPI has taken proactive steps to help publishers to deal with this situation. I mean, the pandemic, during the pandemic. We write to the president and also to the Ministry of tourism and creative economy and other ministry related to book industry. We also we hold a webinar to discuss publishing issues in the new normal, like digital marketing, like how to produce books from home. I mean, use the digital printing. And then we also run a digital exhibition like Indonesia International Book Fair virtual edition as a substitute of IIBF, regular IIBF, so that books from publisher can still be promoted and purchased through marketplace. And we also develop IKP marketplace to attract more publisher, more members to sell their books through our own marketplace. This is also an effort to reduce book piracy in e-commerce. And also, yeah, we collaborated with a government, especially with Ministry of Creative Economy, Tourism and Creative Economy. We together, we encourage programs that can empower not only publishers, but also writers to keep productive during the pandemic, such as incentive programs for writers and publishers. We also launched program named Buy Local Books. It is an incentive program for publishers to sell their books through marketplaces. This is also a program to fight e-commerce piracy. Last but not least, we collaborated with government in organizing IIBF 2020 virtual edition. This was the first virtual book fair that used a virtual three-dimensional booth on virtual Jakarta Convention Center, a venue for regular IIBF.
Okay, thank you, Ida. So there's plenty of action happening at IKAPI, and if there are any publishers watching this who are not members of IKAPI, get in touch with Rosie Dayati and become a member quickly, or else you'll miss out. Again, I'm getting a number of messages wanting to know how to get involved in the IPA Congress, and it's not even 2 years before the event. So I think we're doing a good job of promotion and marketing here. I think Laura should be happy. And in fact, Laura, are you still there? Hi.
Yes,
I'm just wondering, I mean, we've only got a few minutes left and I don't see any more questions on the chat. Is it possible for you to speak a little bit about what's happening in the LitBeat Festival, Jakarta Content Week in November, which will be around the same dates as the IPA Congress in 2022?
Yes, so we are very grateful that we work with the Frankfurt Book Fair to create a content festival. So LitBeat Literaction Festival, which we've been doing for the last 3 years, is gonna be under the Jakarta Content Week. And that is happening on the 11th until the 15th November next month. There's almost 200 programs. It's insane. So we have LitBeat there for all the ideas conference. We have LitBite for culinary, LitFilm for film screening and pitching sessions. We have LitFest for the literary festivals. That alone has 30-something programs already. And then the market for a platform that we provide for free for any companies to want to meet with potential business partners. Lit Trade, a professional program. And lastly is the Cosplay Championship. So we, I don't want to say it now, but we are being sponsored by the biggest company. I'll just keep it like that. I'll just keep it like that. I cannot until I sign the MOU. But almost 200 programs. It's insane. And I'm glad that IPA is taking part of it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. For transparency reasons, I have to confess that I'll be on one of those panels. I'm really looking forward to it. We'll talk obviously after Frankfurt about what you want me to do. But yeah, it sounds fantastic, Laura. It sounds like yeah, Indonesia and Jakarta especially is the place to be if you're a publisher at the moment. As I've said, all the comments on the chat are about how people can get involved. So I think I'm joining everybody in saying that we're all very excited about this. We've only got a few minutes left, so I want to be able to thank everybody. Thank you, Ugo. I see you're back on screen. Thank you to the governor, Anies Baswedan. Thank you to Kristen Einarsson, who's had to go, I think. Thank you to you, Laura, Rosie Dayati, and Haidar. Oh, Kristen's back. Good to have you back in the sunshine, Kristen. Thank you all today for giving us your time and your expertise. I hope people who were listening in and watching learnt something. I hope you've gone away and put in your diaries the 11th to the 13th of November 2022. Come to Jakarta, come and join the publishers of the world as we discuss and debate, as we talk about things literary and also things commercial. That's what publishers do. Let's talk about copyright. Let's talk about freedom to publish, literacy, education, everything. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. I'm already very excited. I know that everybody else is, and we'll see you again at another webinar. Thank you very much and farewell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jose, for great moderation. Thank you.
Ida,
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye to everyone.
Bye.
Bye.